Moving on to the next question. Let's just check in. Okay, where are we? Okay, sometimes I don't feel very powerful to make changes in my life. How can I tap into my authentic power as an INFP without being false or losing my sense of self? Great question. And when when you're struggling with disempowerment, that generally comes from the place that you're not, the four people within you are not amalgamated. So your thinker and your feeler, who are the decision makers, are not working together. And your information collectors, your intuitive part and your sensory part, they're also not working together. Somebody's running the show and overpowering others in that inner family. And what happens then with that is that you start kind of second guessing yourself, because on one hand you have this information, then on the other hand you have this information, and those two parts of you are warring against each other. So it can get very, very confusing, and then you start to go like, well, what is actually authentic to me? I'm not even sure what to do here with this. So it's often when you allow the kind of the warring to continue, and the different parts of you to try and grapple for power, playing these power games, that you start to lose the sense of who you actually are. Because as an INFP, authenticity is very important to you. Your adult self, which is one of the four people within, which is your top person, the most defined, the most practiced person, is called ethicist. And that part of you knows what is right and what is wrong. But when you enter into a power struggle with your inner your 3-year-old inner child, which is the executive, you start to make decisions that aren't actually in line with who you are, who you truly are. So that's why, just referring back to the four people within work is so important. So you understand how the different parts of you are able to support each other. Who should even be in charge? Obviously it should be the grown-ups. It should be the grown-up parts of you that are in charge for your decision making and your information collecting. And the inner child parts of you are just supporting the grown-ups, so kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's, so that you don't kind of that you can make as good, as balanced, as rounded up decisions as you possibly can. And once you allow your authentic self, your ethicist, to be the predominant decision maker, and have the executive helping the ethicist, what's the most effective way of carrying out this decision, then the two decision making parts are working together, and you can make better decisions that way. But it really depends. So depending on what the topic is, because different topics often have different hooks from different ones of the four people within. So you have strengths and weaknesses, or strengths and challenges in each one of those four people within you. Once you know what the topic is, once you know what the challenge is, then you generally know which one of you is the part of you that has the problem, and then you can start opening that up and resolving the issue. So how you can tap into your authentic power as an INFP without being false or losing your sense of self is by doing your four people within work to understand how you're making decisions, and using the authentic part of you, the ethicist, predominantly to make the decisions with the help of the inner 3-year-old ethicist or executive. Okay, so I hope that helps, and I trust that you got a lot out of today's session. I'd like to ask you, what was the one main thing that you got out of today's live session that really you're going to implement and is going to help you going forward with your own struggles? So you can just share your thoughts in this video, and we'll continue the conversation then. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great week. I'll talk to you again soon.